All right, everybody. Welcome to the leadership series. We are super honored. Justin Prince had asked us to step in today. And so it's so cool. We've got some amazing co-hosts with us, all elite Black 3. So we are excited to talk about, gosh, this just amazing things that are happening inside of Modere. And for those of you that we have not had a chance to meet, we're Tony and Sarah Zolecki. We make our home in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've been part of this amazing company now for a little over 9 years. It's been amazing, to say the least. We've grown leaps and bounds, and it's just been so fun to see this amazing just evolution of this amazing brand and all these customers, and just when this was kind of an idea, and now here it is, and all you guys are here, and there's just such good things here at Modere. And this is a leadership call today. So I know some of you guys might be a little bit newer. We want to kind of ask permission to just kind of speak as frank as we can, and just kind of just give it to you guys, and just talk a little bit about just, really what goes on in the mind of an elite Black 3 as we're building in this amazing season. How do we show up? What are some of our perspectives when it comes to just making the connections about people, with people about Modere? And, before we get started, I want to share just a couple of quick thoughts. And, I know when we kind of titled this, this Zoom today of like how to actually, just thrive, right, when it comes to working through a recession. I know the word recession for some people can seem really scary, right? And the one thing that I know about leaders is that they just don't ever panic, right? Every single one of these elite Black 3s, when you hear them, their voice does not quiver, they do not flinch, they are, as solid as they come. And so are so many of these other elites and elite 1s, 2, and 3s, right, and higher, right? We have such an incredible leadership team inside of Modere. And the whole thing for us, I mean, I look at, even when I hear the word recession, I think there's something that's important for all of us to know, is that a recession is temporary. A recession is temporary. It is not something that is here forever. It is not something that, we need to be panicking. But this is what I do know, okay? And some of you guys have heard me kind of share this. One of the things that I feel is kind of like our secret sauce in Modere and our leadership team is that while everybody's zigging in the business, we are zagging. Okay. And the one thing that I can share with you that is so important with what we're going through as a country and really globally around the world is that it is our time to get loud. It is our time to get loud. It is not our time to shrink back and hide out and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't ask people to join the business right now, or I don't know if I should be asking people to buy product. Guys, that is exactly the opposite of what we should be doing. We should be getting louder. We should be getting noisier, right? I mean, I look at, one of the things that, and Tony and I, we've been very intentional with focusing on the last even 2 months, is getting louder on social media, getting louder with stories and reels and posts and even Facebook lives and things on TikTok, right? Like we are focusing on like, how loud are we right now? Because we know that the louder that we are, the more people are going to pay attention. And, now more than ever with what's happening out there, like that's why our company is growing, guys. That's why we've got the leadership that we have that's coming on board and have been here that are through thick and thin, like every single one of us, like there's so many incredible elites and above, like we are all each other ride or die. Like that is how we are in this company. And that's why we're thriving. Like that's why we're thriving. People look around at Modere and they're like, my God, Modere is like the solid rock inside of this profession. Right. And that's a thing that I feel that why we are so proud. Like, I mean, guys, drop the word proud in the chat. Like, are you not freaking proud to be part of this company? Like, I get the goosebumps because I'm like, they're every single part of Modere I love. I love everything about our business. I love everything about the people. Like, I'm so proud to lock arms with just all the amazing leaders here at Modere across every line, right? Because in the words of Tony Zolecki, there's only one line, and that's the Modere line, right? And that's why we're all here today together. And so I want you to like really, I tell people the way that you create personal like confidence and team confidence through times like this is one thing. Anybody know what that one thing is? There is one thing action. Action is the thing that is going to create confidence in your team and create confidence in you through all of this. You know, one of the quotes that I have always remembered in my life for a long time is it says, the chains of worry are forged in idle moments. So what does that mean? If we are not taking action and not doing the do and not doing the daily method of operation and not making the connections, that's when we get worried. That's when anxiety creeps in, right? And doubt and, oh my gosh, what's happening out there? And all of a sudden we weren't watching the news and now we're watching the news and now, right? So the thing that I feel that is so important is the proactive piece of our business is the action, right? The action is what's going to create the confidence in you, continuously create the confidence, but also continuously create the confidence inside of your team as well, right? Second thing I want to share, and I'm going to pass it over to my better half, is I think now more than ever is that with what's happening out there in our world, it is more important right now to be really what I call heart-centered selling and recruiting. It really is. It is so important now more than ever. Really being the person that is kind of what I wrote down, showing, the personal values, like finding out where people are at, meeting their needs, asking the questions, like what do they want, right? What's the solution that potentially Modair can offer them, but also as far as product too, right? So really being that person that is coming from the heart, right? Having the right motive and really being sensitive out there, because I think that's what people are looking for, is showing that personal value. It has taken us actually really far in this business because we focus on the heart-centered selling and the heart-centered recruiting and everything that we do, right? So making sure that we're really focusing on the relationship part of the business versus just the transactional part of the business, which sometimes it's easy for us to fall into, right? Because especially right now, right? We got a great sale and we're like, we want to get a sale, right? Or we want to get to the next, rank. We want to be able to, take advantage of the summer rank up promotion or whatever it may be, right? And I get that. Like that's great. But I do feel that you will get so much farther in this business if you're focused on the heart side, the relationship piece, right, of this business versus the transactional. And really be intentional with being like, hey, am I acting transactional? Am I feeling like I am? And if that's the case, pull back, right? And be more, and then just readjust, tweak, and really be focusing on that heart piece, because that heart piece is that's what's going to be able to allow you to become a great seller naturally, and also obviously a great recruiter as well.
Yeah, I love that, babe. Man, you're on fire today. Woo, smoking. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I mean, I've never been more excited about the next 18 months. We're in such a pivotal time in this world, in the profession. And let me tell you something, there's going to be a lot of winners and losers. And how you win, how to make sure you're on the winning side is leadership. It's always leadership. Now, what's going to get rewarded right now during these times, during this very important time? The stuff that gets rewarded is activity, speed, innovation. That's how you separate, right? Always, taking advantage of every single day and not letting a day go by where you don't show up the right way. You don't impact, you don't serve, you don't recruit, you don't sell, right? You don't lead the team. Like, you've got to take that up a whole nother notch, because what happens is, people fall into complacency and apathy and dysfunction and drama and gossip and, distraction left, distraction right, and look what they're doing and look what this company's doing. And that will be punished more in the next 18 months than it ever has. So we have this opportunity today to really look at what Modair is doing, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of busts out there in our profession. We will boom, we will separate. Like, how we hit $1 billion, one, the company plays a role in that, right? Because, they produce the products, they create the new things and the incentives and all the awesome things you see here. But when it comes down to it, we play the biggest role.
Right.
Us, you and I, the teams, the customers, right? The leadership that we drive through the organization, through this company, we play the biggest role. And what you've got to look at is go, okay, what can I do better? How can I lead a whole different way? Well, everyone is kind of crumbling out there. How can I go above all that and really work at a level where people are just like, holy cow, this person's focused, this person's attracting people left and right. Their content is amazing, how they talk about, people on their lives, their company, their products, their teams, how they edify. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Well, everyone else is doing the opposite of that, right? Which is this world we live in today. A lot of these companies, a lot of, these networkers out there, we just rise above all that. And that's how we grab market share. That's how we own our space. That's how we move social retail even faster around the world. So like, you got to look at this time and go, this is the best time ever right now. I get to build an empire. I get to separate. I get to help more people in my team win at higher levels. I get to go create more stories than I've ever created before. And as stuff comes at me, I'm not going to flinch. As stuff gets me to waver, like, no, it ain't going to take me out. I'm not going to lose an hour. I'm not going to lose a day. I'm not going to lose a week. And I'm sure not going to lose my month over this crap that's going on out there. And if you can create that rhythm and you can control this, what's going to happen is people will follow.
Yeah.
People will copy. People will model. Someone asked me today, where do you see the world? I says, the world needs more positive influence and role models today than any time in history. And I believe that whole role model mindset, it starts with the family. It starts inside the home, right? It starts inside, the kids' schools and in the communities, right? And then in the teams and in people's lives. People want to be attracted. People want to be around people that, can give them a lifeline, that can give them knowledge, that can give them something they're not getting today. They're yearning for it. They're looking for it. They're screaming for it. Deep down inside, they want it so bad. And we get to lead that out. We get to raise that level. Now, there's someone that I've had a chance to work with now for almost 9 years. And, he's been in the profession, 37, 38 years, a wild, crazy number. But I've watched him and I've heard about him lead out through 3 or 4 different recessions. And one of the things he's so good at is teaching this point and making sure you never forget it. So please help me welcome Elite Black 3, Rick T.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, one thing that comes to mind is I got to see Jim Rohn train live probably, maybe a couple dozen times, believe it or not. And I saw, and just about every time that happened, one question he was always asked is, what are the next 10 years going to look like? Everybody's like, what are the next 10 years going to look like? Now, remember, this is in 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010. What are the next 10 years going to look like? His answer was always the same. Some of you may know this, but his answer was always adversity mixed with opportunity. That's what it's always going to look like. It's what it's going to look like in 2020, 2030, 2040. It's always going to look like that. So when it comes to recessions, you're right. I mean, when it comes to our business, I don't even notice that we're in a recession. Well, I do notice because from experience, I know that actually helps our business. I mean, we've got a side of our business where we sell products to customers. We've got another side where we recruit and build teams if you want to do that. And I presume that if you're on this Zoom this morning, you're wanting to build a team. And if you're going to build a team, you got to recruit. Well, why do people join Modera's social marketers on the team building side and the recruiting side? There's only one answer. They want to make money. I mean, that's it. So what does a recession mean? A recession means that people are having a harder time earning money. They look for other ways to do it. They look for more flexible ways to do it. Now, in particular, they're looking for ways to do it. The new buzzword is remote. they want to be their own boss. They don't want to be told to do things they don't want to do. That whole thing. I mean, it's like this quote recession has been piled on top of what's already been going on, which is the gig economy boom. That's already piled on top of that is the great resignation, where people are quitting their jobs in record numbers. Now you've got a recession on top of it. So the bottom line is, what that does, it takes people out of their financial comfort zone. And many people, once again, they got the last couple of years, they got used to working from home, working remote, whatever. Some cases they're being told they have to go back to physical buildings. Those buildings happen to be in cities where they don't want to actually work and live anymore. So they want to be able to go, like, move to Montana or whatever and work remote and still earn the kind of money that they're used to, or the income that they want to replace. Some of them want their kids, they want to start homeschooling their kids because they got used to that the last couple of years. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. So you've got to learn to capitalize on that. And you've also got to learn, don't take my word for it. I look back at the most identifiable recessions just in the last 20 or 30 years. There was one in the early 1990s, one in the early 2000s. There was one around the housing crash in 2008. There was even a recession a couple of years ago, early part of 2020. I won't go into that, but you know what happened? What happened to our business in mid and late 2020 and 21? Ours exploded. I know what Modere did as a whole, it exploded. So there's nothing different about this current situation. Just recognize recession creates upsurges in this type of business, because what we do is basically help people solve problems. P plus S equals O. Problem plus solution equals opportunity. That's how we sell product. Somebody's got a knee that doesn't feel right, they take collagen. Somebody's got a wrinkle on their forehead, they take some of our skincare product. I mean, you get the idea. But if they've got some financial need, they don't like the money they're making, they want some extra money, or they want to do something different to make it. They don't like the lifestyle that comes with what they're making, and they want a better lifestyle with the equal amount of money, or whatever it is. That is a problem you've got to learn to solve. And I love what Sarah said. You've got to start conversations, you've got to ask questions, you've got to get dialogue going, but you've also got to learn to segue it over to our opportunity at some point. And what I like to say is, you want to segue it from just a conversation and being in their world over to actually inviting them to take a look at what we've got here, give you an informed decision that involves follow-up, enrolling, all that good stuff. So anyway, that's what I think, Tony. I mean, I think it's go time. And I think looking forward into the world from where we are now, I just don't see any scenario where the world is not going to stay pretty crazy. And I don't see how any normal human could get real comfortable with their financial situation. I don't see how anybody cannot be more comfortable if they had a nice, healthy Modere business to go along with whatever else is going on in their lives. I mean, literally, I think every single human being out there could greatly benefit from this. And look at all the people doing DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all that kind of stuff. If they really understood residual income and leveraged income, there's no way in the world they wouldn't do this instead of that. And they're just doing it by the zillions. So anyway, the whole saying is, make hay while the sun shines, and the sun is shining.
The sun is shining brighter than it's ever shined before. And one person that brings the sunshine is Bethany Johnson all the time. And I just love her heart. I love her husband, Wayne. I mean, talk about role models and the role model mindset and how they lead out consistently. And I just see them consistently show up no matter what's going on at such a high level. And you would never know what's happening if there's stuff happening behind the scenes with them, because they bring it to that level. And Bethany, I'd love for you to share what's on your heart today. And thank you for your time too and being on here.
Absolutely. It is an absolute joy to be here with you guys. And, the great thing about everything that Sarah, Tony, Rick have already talked about, and I know what John's going to bring, is that it's foundational truth. And it's all the things that my husband and I already have in our minds. So you're hearing, I want to reiterate this. What you're hearing every single person say is literally the mindset of somebody who doesn't quit. And I see that that's the number one problem in our world, is that when people start walking into a situation where there's challenge, there's resistance, it's very easy to fall back to comfort, even if it's in chains, right? We see this, my husband and I have done health and wellness for a long time. So just speaking about, the body, right? We have a lot of people that we know who want change, but they literally have to change their habits, but they will fall back into the comfort of their own chains because that change is too hard. So if you want to know the truth of success, of how people have breakthrough, of how you see billionaires in the world, of how that are not just like receiving, the fund from the last generation until it depletes all the way to zero. I'm talking about people who work hard. They show up daily. It's consistency. And so the key thing that I really want to share with you guys is that you really have to treat your business like a business. And one of the things that I was actually doing recently was looking through our organization, and I was noticing, because you guys are leaders, so you probably have noticed the last couple months, you're like, why is my check or my points not going up? If you're working hard, maybe it's staying the same, but some people are seeing a depleting. Well, I'll tell you one key secret. So put a pin in that. One key secret, Wayne was asking me this a while ago. And if you guys don't know this, I'm open about my faith. I love the Lord. He's the reason why I'm here today. And I pray daily. And I receive, words of knowledge from him. And Wayne was asking me a question about retention with customers and things, because I have a very, you could say like a good portion of our customer pod is from the relationships that I've built. And some of the people I actually really don't know well, but they have a relationship with me because I show up and I share my heart. And when they speak to me, I respond. That's building a relationship. That's a connection. So he was asking me about our customer pod, because we've hit platinum black. I would really say 1, consistently. Platinum black 2 was kind of with a little business pop that was happening at the time. But platinum black 1, and then we consistently always hit platinum 3 at around an average of 11,000 points is what our monthly average is, without even stressing to try to go for platinum black. So the reason why I tell you that is Wayne was asking me for some questions on the customer retention side, because as people are seeing, their retention of customers ordering is going down. Now there's 2 parts to it. One is obviously relationship. If you don't know what they need, you don't know how to serve them, right? But if you do, you're able to listen to them. You're able to speak to their problem. Just as Rick said, we have a solution for everything. So we have an opportunity. And the business can actually pop into that. And a lot of my customers have actually become business builders. So I'm like, I think I have to get some more customers again. But my point of this is, Wayne was like, gosh, what is going on with this situation here, with the customers? Because we have just such incredible products. And I said, we do. I said, here's the thing. The last 3 years, this is the wisdom that was downloaded to me. I said, the last 3 years, people have been in shock, right? And we're on the West Coast, East Coast. I know that, we're kind of similar with how things have happened, right? So the West Coast was really like, we're going to be in lockdown forever. And I know, Canada, Australia, you guys are here too with us. So bear with me. And I'm not offending anyone. Sorry if I do, just sharing truth here. So West Coast, we had to learn how to navigate things a little bit differently. But my point of that is people were in lockdown. And then eventually, as people started to be like, you know what, I feel good. I feel like I can travel. I feel like I can do stuff. They started doing it. But the thing is that they started doing it in secret. A lot of people were doing it in secret because there was judgment. If you go out, you might be offending people. And this is just me again sharing truth. So people were doing it in secret. And it wasn't until about this year. And that's when people stopped receiving funding. That's when people stopped getting extra, right? They had to actually look at their paycheck and be like, wait a second, this is what I'm earning. Ooh, but I'm actually getting freedom now. I can travel and not be judged. I have seen a massive increase of people that I even know, who I know do not have the money that they're spending. They have been doing more and buying more in the last recent time than before, but showing it. And so I told Wayne, I said, what I'm seeing is that people have been living covered up, and it was so heavy. They were exhausted of it. So they just let loose. And I said, but what's happening is they let loose and they realize now they're having to look in the mirror and see, oh my gosh, I've hit a wall. I don't have much. So what do they try to cut out first? Things that they think they don't need. So that might be products, but they actually do need the products. They just need knowledge on it, and they actually need the business. So the thing that I love about the word recession is that it's a reframework. I actually love it because it's a shift. It's a shift and it's a sift. And so speaking of the West Coast, we also get a lot of rain here, but I love the rain because the rain keeps everything green. My favorite color is green, so I live in the perfect place for it. But people moved over to the West Coast, right? Because they wanted to gold mine. So what are you doing when you gold mine? You are getting the dirt and you're sifting for gold. That is what is happening when there's a reframework, when there's a shifting. That is what you're literally a part of. And I couldn't even be more excited for the situation that we're in right now, because just to touch back on what Sarah said, relationship is key. That is everything that I have written down, but you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. So to go back to the very first pin that I said, put a pin in that, you have to treat your business like a business. And what I'm speaking of, I have made trackers for people, and very, 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 very few people, even in our own business, actually follow the tracker that I have. I have more people not in our business tell me, thank you for the tracker, it helps me, than the people in our business. Why is that? People don't like to do hard work. And so we have to break the law of familiarity. We have to choose, do I want to be successful, or do I want to sit in where I am and not complain? We have to stop complaining. If you want to be where you are, stop complaining. If you want to grow, start thinking positive and start speaking to your future. And so just to share with you guys this, you have to lose the thought of negativity, the thought of competition. All of these elite Black 3s that you see on here today, they're not on Wayne's in my business, but they are in my prayers. I specifically pray for increase over their business. I pray for it in all of Modere, because that matters to me. It is a culture. This is a culture. It is not competition. And the more you shift your mindset and you actually speak life over things, you create it. So the better Sarah and Tony's business grows, Rick and Michelle, John and Nadia, the better Modere grows, the better my business grows. The better my teams see more life being put out there, because there is no other system, there is no other company, there is no other payout, there are no other products that are like Modere. And so the very last thing that I want to share is your schedule. You must get a schedule. I homeschool our kids. That has been something I said I would never do. I do it, and I even have my nephews. So I have 2 high schoolers. I have a 6th grader, a 1st grader, and then I have 2 little kids at home. I homeschool them. I have to be super strict on my schedule. So if you want to know the mindset of a successful person, you cannot give way to comfort. I have friends that I love dearly in our business, and they love to go party. And if you love to go party too, listen, that is your thing. That is fantastic. Go have fun, but don't expect to probably be walking in the same success as others that maybe you're comparing yourself to. You have to stop the comparison, competition, and you have to choose to own up to what you want to create for your life. And so for some of my friends, I've told them, I said, you can sit where you are, or you can start to choose to make a schedule, make a list. I have a plethora of people to follow up with who I know are going to say yes to this business. They're all watching. And even people who are tight on funds. I have a friend from high school who reached out to me. I built a relationship with her over all the years. She knows what I do in Modere. When you are you, people know what you do in Modere. You always invite them, as Rick said, but you don't have to force anything. So as I'm ending this, what I'm saying is you continue to be you, And what, Tony said, your light shines. People are attracted to your light. I don't want to recruit donkeys. I don't want to drag anyone. I want to recruit stallions. I'm going to recruit stallions by being a stallion, by showing up, by running, by having vision, by speaking it out, right? So with that, this friend of mine, I totally see her doing the business. Her husband has a company that he's built. It's been hit immensely. All businesses have been hit. All of them. It's not one style, it's all of them. And so she was talking to me about tight funds, but she said in her prayer time, this was now 2 months ago, she said, I heard your voice and I heard God say, contact Bethany and start using her products. So she asked, and when I asked, what does she need help with? She got on the products, has spent more than she's had because she trusted. She's receiving radical transformation, that's what I'll call it, instead of anything else. And then literally she messaged me just the other day. She goes, I think I'm ready to do fat loss now that you've helped me with these things. And I said, well, boy, have you picked the perfect time, because guess what's happening tomorrow? And she's like, you're so right. So she's on board with that. And I guarantee you, by this kind of platform that's created through relationship, she's going to be like, I want to launch off now and I want to make some money with this because we need the money. So that's the kind of thing that happens as you show up consistently. You are going to bring on other stallions who are ready to run and not just be dragged somewhere. That's not what we're doing here. This is like the next 10 years. Yes, it is legacy building time. I saw that. So I'm going to cut myself off there, but can't wait to hear what John's going to bring.
I love it, Bethany. And someone who's always ready to run. Talk about a stallion is John Melton. And John's built through a couple different recessions in our space, out of our space. And he's so good with one of the traps when you're leading every day is falling back into old programming. And John is so good at really teaching how to stay out of that so that you can rise up and really get everything out of your day you can. So John, take it away, man.
All right, awesome. I'm excited to be here. What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. Obviously, we all got, some things going on to close out the month. I know there's a little bit of a promo happening right now. I know I've been responding to messages. Just another reason I've got two phones. You don't have to have two phones, but at some point you might want to. Anyway, Bethany smashed it, knocked it out of the park. I always love listening to Rick because he has such a logical way of explaining things. And I have to agree with Tony and Sarah, with Bethany, with Rick. The recession is an opportunity. When I got started in network marketing, it was 2 weeks after 9/11. When I went full-time in network marketing, it was the year 2008. I fired my boss. I got out of the mortgage industry. I went balls to the wall, all in with my network marketing business at that time. And I got to tell you, there was doom and gloom. It was all this commotion and negativity, just chaos in the world. But it was like the best thing that could have happened. I hate to say that, but we needed a reset. And there's always going to be ebbs and flows in your business, in your life, in the recession, the economy, the world, right? Inflation, all this conversation is happening. But guess what? There's a lot of people that are like me in 2008 that weren't open. I was not open-minded just a couple years prior, but because things dried up in real estate and I was having to work twice as hard to make half the money and I didn't have residuals, all of a sudden I became open-minded. And I got to tell you, we've been recruiting lots of leaders over the last 7 years we've been here, right? A lot of you have experience in network marketing. And the reason leaders come here from other companies, people with experience, because they want to see the average person win. Because most of them are building these big teams and they're making money, and maybe some of their leaders are making money, but they don't have a true online system for the average person to earn income from home. And I just think right now is such prime time for us to be having conversations with A players, people of influence. I've been signing up a lot of real estate professionals right now. Why? Because real estate professionals are realizing that the rates are going up, business is slowing down. And that's not just realtors. It's just real estate professionals, mortgage bankers, appraisers. In fact, the first year that I earned 6 figures in network marketing, it was 2008 when I went full-time after 7 years of being a dabbler. How many of us have been a dabbler? Be honest. I was a dabbler, had some things happen to me that made me experience some MLM PTSD, if you will. But I just feel like we're all at the right place at the right time, but only if you take advantage of it. There are so many people out there on their knees every night praying for something. And you got to open your mouth and don't think in scarcity. Don't think like, oh, Modair's already so big, or, people don't have money to purchase products. I know that's not true because I've already had literally a dozen customers place orders, personal customers. Like, I'm more of a recruiter than a seller, but I've had a dozen customers order this morning, and some of those were really big orders. And it's cool because I've been reaching out to active customers, letting them know about this promo. And how many of us love that Modair put together this ridiculous agenda, this schedule? Like, we have a plan every month of what we're doing. And then you couple that with all the international markets. I know a lot of you are from different countries, different parts of the world, and we kind of have a little bit more of like a rhythm to what we're doing. But it's just amazing to reach out to inactive customers, to reach out to people that I've been, working on. How many of us have those people that are just like in the funnel forever? You're like, time to S or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a promo. There's an excuse to reach out to all the peoples. Like, if you were ever going to go all in with your business, now's the time. Not only the next 2 days, we've got this promo, and I know there's different markets represented, so you have different kind of promos and things going on, but it's the end of the month for all of us. Number one. Number two, guess what the biggest month of the year is for Modair? It's November. Every single year, November is the biggest month of that year. So with that being said, if you're going to hit it hard, now's the time. Now's the time to double down on your efforts. And look, let's keep it real. We blew up during the last 2 years when we anticipated going backwards. We exploded. Part of that was TikTok. Part of that was Reels. And of course, I think we can all agree now, it's not as easy to go viral. It's not as easy just to show up as an infomercial and sell your products. You got to have some real skills. You got to build real relationships. The reason my business is where it is today, because I don't sit back twiddling my thumbs, waiting for people to get in my inbox. I'm a professional conversation starter. And guess what? So are you. Whoever starts the most conversations wins. And of course, if you're going to start conversations with people, it makes sense to start conversations with the best people you know, the busiest people you know. They say, if you want to get something done, give it to who? That's right, a busy person. Like, I just got out of a workout. I've already done a ton of follow-ups today. I'm doing my Money Monday show today, 2 p.m. Eastern. Like, I'm busy. And we got a little bit of a promo happening, I'm pretty sure. So busy people get ish done. And I just feel like right now, there's a lot of people that are scared. There's a lot of people that are watching the news. They see what's going on. Their business is slowing down. They're having to work harder to make less, or people that are just in a job, but they're realizing that one stream of income is scary because their 401k just became a 101k. This is prime time to be a social marketer. So again, you've got other companies that are really slowing down because they don't know how to sell product. They don't know how to use social media. They're all about recruiting recruiters to recruit recruiters, and they're just selling the compensation plan and selling the business. They are on the struggle bus right now. So you can get a lot of those people that might have been closed-minded 6 to 12 months ago that are now open-minded. And then you've got a lot of people that are in traditional business, traditional sales, people that make a good income in their job that are now a little bit uncertain. And uncertainty breeds opportunity. So this is your time to shine. And, there's a lot of us that have maybe been around for a little bit. And I know some of you are brand new, but maybe you've at least been around social media and you've been around, network marketing. And sometimes we only pay attention to people in their winning season because social media is a little bit of a highlight reel. And of course, you could look at Tony and Sarah and Rick and Bethany and go, oh my gosh, they're so legendary. They're amazing. But the truth is we've all been in that situation where we had no growth, we had decline in our business, or we had no team. We were a team of one, right? You're like, I got a bunch of deadbeats on my team, which, by the way, please don't speak death over your organization. Sometimes we get upset or discouraged because we don't have people that are as motivated as us. That's called normal. That's called very normal. But the truth is, a lot of those people, you know what? They just want to be a part of something. They might plug in and plug out. I can't tell you how many times, especially when things slow down, I have this availability to reach out to people. So when things are a little slower, I'll reach out to people. And it's amazing how many of them are like, oh my gosh, it's so good to hear from you. I've been thinking about reaching out. I've been thinking about relaunching my business. Like, I think it was 4 or 5 people just in the last 24 hours that I enrolled months ago, even years ago, that have relaunched their business just in the last 24 hours. I cannot believe how many people still love our products, even if they haven't used the product recently. How many of you have come across people, right? Because I had this conversation with a woman yesterday and she's like, well, I hate to ask this question, but what about saturation? I go, first of all, I don't believe in that. Second of all, the truth is, as we've gotten bigger, it's given us more credibility. It's given us more leverage. Because every time I come across people, I shouldn't say every time, but most of the time I come across people, they're like, oh yeah, is that the Spoon Company? Oh yeah, that trim, I've used that before. Collagen, I love that product. You guys have that fruity stuff, the life stuff, right? I'm like, yeah, that's us. So the point is, there's people joining every day. There's people wanting to start a business every day. There's people open-minded to things that they wouldn't be open-minded to a week or two ago, a month ago, every single day. We're ATMing people every single day. So if people are buying every day and joining every day and people are attracted to us every single day, it's just a matter of whether they're joining you or somebody else. But the good news is you have trainings like this that you can access. You have resources and tools and mentorship. And I love what Tony says about the one line. Like, even if your sponsor isn't all that engaged, find some sideline brothers and sisters. Connect with people that are on this Zoom right now. Like, there's so many people out there that are wanting to build a business, that are wanting to run. They're looking for accountability. They're looking for relationships, friendships, and they want to build a business, but they also want to create lifestyle, freedom. They want to have fun. And the more fun you have, the more money you make. So I can answer questions. I know we still have a little bit of time. I know Tony and Sarah can answer questions, but I just wanted you to start being the star of your own show. I wanted you to start showing up as the star of your show and not just being, in the background, not being, one of those people that's just like, well, because this is the leadership conversation. Like, well, my leader does this and my leader does that. And you might be fortunate enough to have a great leader, but what if you started to step into that leadership role? What if you started to share tips and ideas with the team, share little ideas that are working for you, and start showing up as the leader that you need to be to deserve the success you desire? That's number one. Number two, when things slow down, when things happen, look at it like a plot twist, right? Look at it like time to pivot, right? I think there's so many times where bad things happen to us. Like, my last company was shut down by the Federal Trade Commission 7 years ago last week. Now, of course, I wasn't like, yes, love losing a paycheck. Best thing that could have happened. Blessing in disguise. Why? Because I wouldn't have been open to the greatest opportunity on the planet for someone to build a business from home. I wouldn't have been open to Modere 7 years ago if my last company didn't get shut down. And the one thing that I came to realize is I needed to find a customer-centric model, a company that I could build from home, online, because I've always been a recruiter, like I mentioned. But it's amazing how many people get involved in our business as a social marketer to build a business because they love the products, because they see the results from the products, the quality, the science of our products. And even though that last company, they had good products, it was all about making money. It was all about the compensation plan, the business. And this is why a lot of people are turned off from this profession. They have that MLM PTSD. So when you start showing up with that posture, with that energy, and if you don't have the posture, you don't have the confidence, borrow your upline, borrow our confidence. You don't have to fake it till you make it, but you have to faith it. Write that down. Faith it till you make it, because I really believe that this is a reset. I believe there's a lot of people right now that are going to take a look at what we're doing because things are slower, because of the recession. Some of the best companies, some of the biggest companies were started during a recession. This is opportunity, y'all. So I'm excited about that. If there's any questions I can answer, I know we still have a little bit more time. Typically, these are an hour long. And how many of us just love that Prince does these every single week? Like, these have been super impactful. And the fact that they opened up this to everybody, I hope you guys got a ton of value from this. But I'm not seeing any questions.
Yeah, they'll come in.
If there's any
John,
questions we can do to close out, let us know. But yeah, I love
just throw them in there. Throw them in the chat if you got some questions.
Yeah. But we love this team. I mean, this team, I think the one thing that makes this so unique and why we have such incredible retention, because we allow people to run at their speed. We allow people, this is a home for everyone. We say that all the time, but it truly is. Like, if a customer wants to be a customer, we'll let them be a customer. If someone just wants to supplement their income, we don't make them feel bad for not showing up all the time. How come you're not paying attention in the chats? How come you're not on all the Zooms and all the trainings? Because they're not that serious yet. Yet is the key word. So the fact that we have this culture where whether you want to run, walk, jog, crawl, sprint, like, we've got your back and everybody is here to help everybody. I've never seen that network marketing. Typically, especially as the company gets bigger, the teams kind of break off and, oh, you can't see what we're doing over here. And, don't pay attention to those leaders over there, where this team all works together. And there's a lot of different personalities and styles. So you can find someone that you can model and learn from and get mentorship from. And I just love that.
Right.
I think it's so special.
I love that, John. So good, bro. So good. Hey, Rick, in just a couple minutes, give us some final thoughts and just what you're feeling right now. Obviously, there's so many people on here. There are different levels of leadership. They have different businesses. But what's your final thoughts for everybody today?
Gosh, I almost feel like we're whipping a dead horse. I don't know if that's a good. We've all said basically the same thing. This is an opportunity. The recruiting pool out there, that your potential prospects that would potentially be interested in taking a look at what we're doing, it's bigger than ever. And that it's not going away. It's going to stay like that. But that, once again, they're out of their financial comfort zone. But guess what? Just because the conditions are ripe, I think it was John that said it, it doesn't mean they're just going to come hunt you down and say, Rick, I'm ready to join, and turn backflips the first time you bring up the word Modere. They see your t-shirt and hey, let me in. It's not like that, So just because the conditions are ripe and, we're basically set to take a massive upsurge, doesn't mean you don't still have to do your part. And you're hearing that. I mean, you've got to, what I call, perpetually prospect. John said, start the most conversations. I love what Sarah said. Don't be what's called transactional, be relational, put some heart in it, have a genuine and authentic concern about their particular situation. If they're telling you they want to replace an income, or they want to earn this much, or they want to, earn some extra money so they can live somewhere else, don't just gloss over that. Really focus in and build your plan, build their game plan around solving that problem with a genuine interest and concern about them, not you. It was Zig Ziglar that said, all of you know this, that you can get anything you absolutely want if you just help enough other people get what they want. We are the epitome of that. So that's all I can say. Just back to fundamentals, do it yourself, speed of the team, speed of the leader, speed of the team. You've got to set the example, do the prospecting, segue it over to having them look at the business, follow up, bring them on board, and just really capitalize on the situation that we've got ourselves in.
That's awesome, Rick. And Bethany, kind of what's on your heart right now?
I think, one thing that I left out was one of the powers that I noticed about people on our team, because I forgot to go back to it. I was jumping all over, but I think majority of the women might have followed me as women do spider webs. So sorry about that, men. But I mentioned how, I was looking through our organization and I noticed people who average about 1,200 to 5,000 points a month during the last couple months had no drop in their points. And the thing that stuck out to me in our business is that they're doing great relational follow-up. And just as John was saying, we need to love people where they're at. And I know that that's what a lot of us leaders do really well. I'm not going to force people to go to Elite when they're happy making $500 a month. They're happy. They're in a culture and they have confidence. They have joy. I actually think they'll naturally grow to have more, the more that they keep doing that. But I do want to share something that came to me. And so my husband and I have already jumped on it because we like to do things together. But again, if you're doing this with a spouse, you do need to figure out what are each other's strengths, so you're not running over the same things. That's something that Wayne and I do really well, so we can support each other instead of do the same thing twice. But one thing that we find really important to do is with our leaders, we have specifically taken time to, those who we know are hey, we're really working with you, because we have a lot of leaders. And of course, if there were some leaders watching us who are I didn't get that invite, then of course you could message us. But these are people that we have really been working with, and we have seen that decline in their business. And we believe in them and we know what's going on. We know it's only going to multiply. So know that I see and I know it is going to multiply. But here's what we're doing. So if you're wondering what to do with your team, here's what we're doing. We have scheduled a Zoom at the beginning of the month with each of these leaders to help them look at their business, because a lot of people just don't know how to look at their business. We're helping them look at their business and actually look at who's been recruiting. No one? Okay, we have to fix that. What are you sharing? What are you inviting to? You know, these are things that, again, it's even on my leader tracker that I have. But the thing is, we need to take some time, this is what we're noticing, and help people learn how to get structured. A lot of people just don't know how. That's why they like JOBs, because someone tells them what to do and they just show up and do it. When you work for yourself, you actually learn, oh wait, what do I have to do today? And I have to do it. I can't get distracted. I have to stay focused. So we're retraining some leaders how to stay focused, look at their business, what are their goals, their weekly goals, and then every single week we're checking in on how are they doing with those goals. That's specifically what we're doing with these leaders, so they know what to do with their team. And so even if you're like, I have 2 team leaders on my team and you're watching this, you do that with your team leaders. And as they grow, then they'll learn how to do that with their team leaders. So this is something that we're really finding is going to help lock in people to take responsibility and treat their business like a business and not have people fall through the gaps, because this is literally just going to be the best opportunity that there has ever been. So we're really excited for what's coming.
Thank you, Bethany, for sharing that. So good. Before you hear from John and I wrap it up, Sarah, kind of what's on your heart?
Well, first of all, I love this. How many guys are like loving this, right? Like we're like, we should do this every month together. You know, I want to piggyback on a couple of things. I love what John talked about and also Bethany, because they kind of said it 2 different ways. But, you know, one of the things that I've been doing with people on my team is I've actually been scheduling mastermind Zooms with them, because I love using kind of the word mastermind versus like, hey, I want to help you get back on track. I want to help whatever, right? Because we all have those people that maybe haven't been taking the action that we feel that they could be, or they're not getting the goals that hitting the goals they want. And so I'm like, hey, listen, I would love to set up a mastermind Zoom with you to help you like figure this out. You know what I mean? Help you hit your goals. And they love that. And so we talk about things that are like, what do you really want, right, out of this business, and help them do exactly kind of like what Bethany had talked about, right, setting goals and that type of thing. But I love, there's something to be said for that mastermind piece where they don't feel like it's just like a coaching Zoom, or oh, they just want to see where I'm at, and oh my gosh, you know, like it's the mastermind. Like I just love that they feel like they're collaborating, they feel like they're on the same page, they feel like what I'm seeing is people are letting their guard down. Like it's been so productive just by changing that simple word when I am connecting with them, right? A couple of things I want to share with you, okay? Some of you guys that are on this Zoom are what I would call a little bit more analytical, okay? So what I want to share with you guys is this. Please, you've got to stop like making this business so complicated. You know, one of the greatest kind of like, I don't know, kind of teachable moments that I had in my business is that I am a little bit more of an analytical person, is my mentor said, Sarah, there are times in your business when you have to just like shut your brain off and do the work. So some of you guys, I'm going to tell you this right now, you need to shut your brain off and you need to like just go to work in this business and just do it, right? Like and there was times for me where I was overcomplicating it. And I think even worse, what I was doing in my business is that I was always looking for the break, because I was seeing all these other people, right? I was seeing a John Melton get these breaks. I was seeing a Bethany get these breaks. I was seeing a Rick T get these breaks. And I was like, well, what about me? When am I going to get my break, right? And then the reality was, is I literally had like a God download, and he said, Sarah, you need to be the break. Stop looking for the break. You need to be the break. And that's when I went, like massive light bulb went off in my life, like crazy. And I went, okay, I'm going to do it. And I shut my brain off and I did the work. And I was like, I'm going to be the break. I'm going to be the break. So some of you guys, I want to share with you, like, be the break. Like this is a perfect time for you to, all the tools that are in place, right? As everyone talked about today, but it's time for you to go, I'm going to be the break. Like I'm going to stop wanting to get lucky in this business. I'm going to stop wanting to get a break. I'm going to stop wanting the leader to drop in my lap. Like I'm going to go get great at this business. I'm not going to just kind of like pedal along and do a little bit here and there, but like, I'm going to get really, really good at this business. And when you do that and you stop looking for the break and you stop hoping to get lucky and you shut your brain off and you do the work, guys, I promise you, every single one of you can triple your business all day long if you did just that part of your business.
So awesome, babe. John, give me your closing thoughts here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you talking about luck because the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I think, you know, those blessings, those fortunate things that happen for people, typically, not all the time, but quite often, they went out and earned it. They deserved it. They were disciplined. They did the work even when they didn't feel like it. How many of us know what I'm talking about? Like, there's just some days where you're like, I don't feel like doing a video. I don't feel like following up. But at some point, and it's the same thing with like working out. For years, I was just like, working out is so boring. But once it became a habit, I felt weird not doing it. It's the same thing when it comes to posting on social media. It was super uncomfortable in the beginning to do videos and randomly talk to the camera. And back then it was pre-recorded videos. So that was like super awkward because you're literally talking to yourself and you have to not look at yourself, but you kind of want to look at yourself to see how you look, right? Because you don't want to look weird. And then because you didn't look at yourself, the camera's pointed right up your nostrils. So when you post the video, you're like, that's odd. You can see up my nose. So there were some things that you had to do in those early days that you don't have to do today. And you know, the truth of the matter is a lot of us suck at things when we're new. Whether that's doing videos, prospecting, connecting with people, you know, taking on leadership responsibilities, embrace the suck. If you're naturally gifted and good at everything you do, you're probably not really doing anything outside your comfort zone. And that's where success lives. But I need you to start playing the long game because there are people that I enroll in my business every week that I've been friends with or connected with for legitimately years. There are people you're going to connect with today that'll join your business or buy your product a year from now, 5 years from now. So if you're playing the long game and you realize that the more you work on yourself, the more you grow yourself, the more you develop your confidence and skills, the more you can grow your business and ultimately your bank account, especially for those of you that are on here that want an MBA, a massive bank account, you've got to work on you. And as you're having these conversations, you're reaching out to people, because again, you can't sit back waiting for people to get in your inbox, right? You want to be proactive. You're going to notice that you get a little bit better over the course of a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, and stop getting so fixated on what you haven't accomplished and being frustrated and start getting fascinated with, you know, what others are doing. Don't be bitter, get better. And look at how far you've come. Look at what you have your hands on. Like, we couldn't even build a business the way we do today, the way we build online from home. We couldn't even do this sort of thing just 5, 6, 10 years ago. And it truly is amazing. It's remarkable that people can build, and in some cases, a full-time income just on the promoter side, just sharing products on social media. But if you're trying to build a legitimate business and not just trying to sell products and, you know, have that lucky mentality, then you need to start treating it like a business. And a business owner thinks differently than an employee. They think for the long term. They're building something that's going to stand the test of time and can create financial freedom, time freedom. And that's why we attract people. The money's great, but there's a lot of ways to make money, but there's not a lot of ways to create time. And I think, especially being a parent, being a dad, being a husband, like, I know the value of my time. Now, I didn't know that when I got started. When I got started 20 years ago, I was just money motivated because I didn't have any money. But over time, you realize it's about the freedom, it's the time, it's the flexibility of building a business around your busy schedule. But like every leader has said on here, you need to start holding your feet to the fire, get accountability going, get a structured schedule of like, hey, I don't feel like doing the work, but I'm going to do it anyway because my goals and dreams are bigger than my feelings. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to you, Tony. Appreciate you guys hosting this today.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Love it, John. Thank you. And here's what I'll tell you, like, I'm a big fan of learning, growing, getting better, and, you know, always leveling up. But here's kind of a trap us leaders fall into sometimes. And these are extremely precious days, right? You have to understand how precious these days are right now as we close out this year. Sometimes you need to learn less and implement more. And it's really easy to keep saying, well, I'm watching this training, or I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And what we find ourselves doing is avoiding the things we need to be doing, which in my opinion, 80, 90, 95% of your time should be prospecting and recruiting, building relationships, conversations, the things you heard about today. But sometimes we're like, well, no, I got to watch another video. No, I've got to watch another training. No,
Right.
there's this free stuff going out. You know, there's a whole week challenge. I got to be on it for 7 hours every day for the next week. And it's like, well, I need that. No, you know enough. Listen really closely right now. You know enough. You don't need any more training. You know enough. You need to implement more. Your activity needs to go up. Your conversations need to go up. There's this thing called the rule of 100, right? I want you to write this down, the rule of 100. Your whole goal as fast as possible. Some of you will do this in a week. Some of you will do this in a month. Some of you will do it in 90 days. But your whole goal is to get 100 people to look at Modair in a professional, interesting, compelling way. And who cares what they say? Who cares if they say yes, no, maybe so, I don't know. None of that really matters right now. Your whole goal is to get 100 people to look at this the right way. And if you truly fill your funnel and get 100 people to look at this the right way, you will double or triple or quadruple your business. Yes, I said it. You will go elite. You will go E1. You will go E3. Some of you, you're one line away from Elite Black 1. A couple new elites away from Elite Black 2 and 3. But that's what needs to get dialed up. And if you think about, everyone wants to know, what am I doing wrong with my business? Why can't, I got to replace a line, or I got to, create some new lines, or we're not talking to enough people. All our businesses are underexposed. That is the truth. That is reality. And you don't need a whole nother week course for 7 hours a day to figure that out. You don't. Now listen, you guys got this. There's this internal mission, right? This saying that I've been saying. And I want you to put it in the chat. Everybody put in the chat, get big fast. Get big fast. If you give us between now and the end of the year, and you implement your butt off, you do the rule of 100 as fast as possible, you lead out like Rick talked about, like Bethany talked about, like John talked about, like Sarah talked about, and you just go all in, your business by the end of the year, you won't even recognize it. You'll be on stage, you'll be getting the awards, you'll be talked about, you'll be on all the calls, you'll be in all the groups, you'll be in all the chats, but more importantly, your team will be too. So this is our time. We're not gonna leave it on the table. We're not gonna lose it. We're gonna make sure we squeeze it, and we squeeze it as hard as we can. Like John said, reach out. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is ask for help, but some of you, if you need help, ask for it. Just need to get reconnected with a line, or need to get reconnected with someone that's actually building the business, and I want to build the business. Just reach out, ask for help. We'll make sure there's, like John said, there's hundreds of people on here that would love to have you be a part of it and run with you and have that accountability with you. So we love you. Thanks for spending your hour with us. Please take this information. A lot of times we just listen and listen and listen. But let's apply this stuff like we've never applied anything before. And let's just go put our businesses on fire, close this sale out, close this month out, and go into September with a bang. Love you, everybody. Take care. Thanks, John. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Bethany.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Modair family.